ChatGPT gave me an answer that honestly impressed me. It was detailed. It explained risks and costs. It even showed sources. For a moment, I thought, great, I understand this now. But then I asked one follow up question, and suddenly ChatGPT started showing me which parts of its own answer were confirmed, which parts could still change, and what it still did not know about my situation. That second prompt was more useful than the first because a good AI answer is helpful, but a good answer does not automatically mean you know what to trust. So, in this video, I will show you the exact follow up prompt I used and how you can replace my example with your own topic and use the same method yourself. To test this, I used a real topic I was already researching: the Melbourne property market. I enjoy watching property videos and reading websites, but sometimes I finish with lots of information and still do not know what actually matters. The topic itself is not the lesson here. The lesson is what I asked ChatGPT after it gave me an answer. You can see I am using temporary chat here, only so my previous conversations and memory do not influence this test. You do not need this for the prompt itself to work. For my first question, I simply told ChatGPT what I had been researching and asked whether I should invest now. It is a very normal way to use AI. You feel unsure, so you ask it for an answer. And honestly, the response was impressive. It gave me a detailed answer, and it even showed sources for the information it was using. It covered market conditions, borrowing costs, taxes, cash flow, risks, and it gave me a practical conclusion. This was not a bad answer. It was useful. But this is where I nearly stopped too early, because an answer can look detailed and convincing, and I may still not know what is confirmed, what may change, or what actually applies to me. As I read through the answer, I started wondering which parts are confirmed facts, which parts are predictions or announced changes that may still change. What does ChatGPT still not know about my own situation? And what should I verify before relying on any conclusion? This is the point where I think many of us stop too soon. We receive an impressive answer and mistake that feeling of confidence for real clarity. So I asked ChatGPT to audit its own answer. This time, I was not asking ChatGPT for more confidence. I asked it to show me what was confirmed, what may still change, what depended on me, and what I should verify before trusting its first answer. And this is where the conversation became much more useful. The first thing ChatGPT did was show me where caution was needed. It explained that some information was reported market data, and that some tax changes mentioned in the first answer were announced policies that still needed checking before I relied on them. Then it organized the answer into three clear groups: confirmed facts, predictions or announced changes that may still change, and points that depend on my personal situation. That is very different from simply accepting the first confident answer. This part mattered most to me. ChatGPT could give me general research, but it still could not know whether this would make sense for me without my actual details: my income, my borrowing amount, the real property price, the actual costs, and how much risk I could manage. The first prompt gave me information. The follow up prompt showed me what was still missing before I should rely on the conclusion. And at the end, it gave me a checklist. Before I trust an AI answer about a big decision, that was the real payoff. I did not just get more information. I got a way to question the information before trusting it. Now, your question may have nothing to do with property. Maybe you are comparing a product. Maybe you are planning a trip. Maybe you are choosing something important for your family. Or maybe you are trying to understand information you found online. The topic can be completely different, but the method is the same. When AI gives you an impressive answer, do not stop there. Ask, what is confirmed? What may still change? What depends on my situation? And what should I verify before I rely on this? This is the simple version of the follow up prompt. You can use it after almost any important AI answer. The goal is not to distrust AI, the goal is to use it more intelligently. This follow up prompt is useful, but the real method is the two-step conversation. First, get the answer. Then ask AI what may still be missing before you trust it. So I have put both exact prompts from this video into a free guide below, together with a fill in the blank version, so you can replace my property example with your own topic. You can download it free, copy the prompts, and try the same method with whatever you are researching next. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.